We're good.
And welcome to the stream. This is a show about death. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inferno, a Dante's Inferno 5e romp through hell. This is your host and DM, Jhevaunte here. Happy to bring you all onto this wild ride, but it's more important to talk about this incredible group that I have with me. We're going to start with Isengrim. Introduce yourself and your character for us, would you?
Hello, my name is Alex Canipur and I play Isengrim the Saint.
And let's go with Alma.
Hi y'all, I'm Nox and this is Hazel. And I play Alma the Taken.
And Thaddaeus.
Hi, I'm Malgrave, playing Thaddaeus, a vicar cleric.
And Mercy.
Hi, I'm Gabby Miraz, and I'm playing a class canon, or what other people like to call a wizard.
And Weylin.
Hi, I am Casper the MB Ghost, and I am playing the Exile, or Ranger.
Music is just a touch loud. We're adjusting as we go through.
Darn it!
It's always quieter when we're doing tech. That's how it works. For funsies, and because I'm a terrible person, I'm gonna roll to see. Whoop, we lost some.
Be
We
right
lost the
back.
Mercy.
issues. Gotta love that happening immediately, but at least it happens now. Isengrim. So a recap from last week.
Yes. So last time, we found ourselves in a dark forest with no memory whatsoever of who we are or how we found ourselves there. Alma and Mercy found each other and decided to band together on the path. Myself, Isengrim, and Thaddaeus also found each other and eventually stumbled upon Weylin. We then grouped up with all the others and decided to keep going on this forest path until we hit a pond with refreshing water that we did not consume, unfortunately. We then heard a sound, I believe, of a wolf, but I might be wrong. I think we heard howls. We went through the path in the forest and came upon a gate that leads to somewhere that looks... I think it was confirmed that it was the Garden of Eden. The gate was guarded by a she-wolf and a golden lion. We tried to fight those and failed. Not miserably, we did get some damage in, but we failed. And then found ourselves back at the pond with our guide, Orfeo. We argued a bit, of course, being D&D characters. We then followed our guide all the way into hell, where we met with Charon, the boatman or the ferryman, who was swamped with souls trying to get across and had beached his boat until a problem with an angel was resolved. We agreed to deal with this angel one way or another in exchange for passage, and then we met a creature called Thaddaeus the Collector, who seems to know Mercy from somewhere.
Excellent recap. What I'm going to give you is something that I am going to term as... I'm going to call it Mercy. What Mercy is going to do is that it will allow you to essentially have an automatic reroll if you fail a dice check, or advantage if you so desire one.
Thank you.
And we are now going to move into the game. After this encounter with Thaddaeus, the rocky and muddy outcropping of Limbo is open to you all. Though you have an idea, a sense of where this ruin, this church, has been located, the path to get there seems to be less viable to find. Limbo itself is an almost eternally shifting maze of rocky outcroppings and mud. From water that you're not quite sure where it's from, other than from the lake that Charon has beached his craft. This being said, there do seem to be a few winding pathways moving here or there. I would like for everyone to go ahead and give me a... This will be fun. I'd like everyone to give me a perception check.
18.
What is
7.
what does it mean for like proficient in it? Does that give us like anything to add, or?
If you are proficient in... It should just be a proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Got a 9.
I got 2 numbers
I got a
on mine.
7.
Doing math. Give me a sec.
Oh,
Sorry.
I have advantage whenever I do perception.
I don't play
Ah.
D&D, so I don't know what to...
I got 2 numbers on mine, and I because I got advantage on perception. So I got a natural 20 on that one. 24.
Nice.
And I got 21. I rolled and then I added my proficiency bonus.
Fantastic. 1 second. So, as you all are looking around trying to find a pathway, it's not a path that is spotted by Weylin. It's not sight that directs you to what is occurring. It's the sound. You can hear footsteps, like marching feet moving through this muck and rock. And then there's chanting. It's distant, but it begins to grow a bit louder. And you realize that this is different from the endless, pitiful screaming of the tortured and dead. This is almost hopeful chanting of a single name. And you start to hear it getting a bit louder and growing closer. I'm going to ask you all what you would like to do before the sight of whatever is doing this gets close enough that you can see it.
Well, I would like to pull out an arrow, notch it in my bow, and find a good spot to shoot.
You can see, with that natural 20, you can see a bit of a perturbance of this rocky outcropping that could feasibly fit everyone behind to hide if you so desire.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'd like to hide.
I'm heading there.
Can we identify the name that is being chanted?
As it starts to get closer, again with that nat 20, Weylin, you can identify that this chanting, you can hear them chanting out, Sariel, Sariel, Sariel.
Sariel's the name of the angel we're looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to signal everyone to follow me behind hide a rock. And don't know how to convey this information as Weylin. Because Weylin is a person of very few words. So he's gonna do military signals mostly to Isengrim. And hopefully he understands. Target spotted, round the corner.
Can I like feel the hand signals that Weylin is doing? Because I can't see them.
You do have a blind sight
Yeah.
of up to, I think, 30 feet.
Yes. The blind sight that you have is different from how D&D would naturally portray your version of blind sight. You can, in effect, see these signals, but it's more so that you gain this almost flash of light that displays what is happening in front of you. So I will say you can see the signals. Mm-hmm. Good. Understood. I would like... Is there any way for me to know who among my companions is the squishiest?
Knowledge of who died last time.
I mean, I was
That's
a
all of us.
one-hit kill. I was a one-hit kill.
For the sake of doing this, I would say that's an insight check.
Okay. Nine.
Difficult to tell, since everyone that you knew of died pretty quick. Looks-wise and from sounds, it's probably Mercy in your thought process, but Alma is also small.
I think I'm gonna go to Alma I'm gonna like approach I'm gonna put my hand up and like basically signal that I'm just gonna do something to give her a hand. Come along this way, and I'm gonna cast heroism. You have, on every single one of your turns, you gain 3 temporary hit points
Oh, awesome.
for up to 1 minute.
Awesome, thank you.
And as this is happening, is everyone going to be hiding behind the rocks that Weylin found?
Oh yeah, Alma beelined like once she saw Weylin going that way, then Mercy following. She's like, nope, let's go.
For the moment, though, Thaddeus basically will say, I understand clearly there may be a threat, but do we want to walk in with weapons drawn, picking a fight?
Yes.
I don't think that's the way to go.
There's a lot of
We are-
chanting.
Badly outnumbered.
You shoot the person in the head. You destroy the head of the snake, and the rest of the body will wither.
I do agree with Thaddeus. I think we should speak to this angel first, if we can.
The chanting is growing much louder. Weylin, you can see from your position what these things are. When I described to you all these lost souls in the Inferno, these look similar, but actually do have a physical form to them. These are the hosts of the damned, those that have already lost what bit of hope remained in them. Their forms range in deterioration. Some are ragged, almost bone-thin, flesh healing off in some bits, scabs and sores covering them. Others seem bloated, almost like their bodies are filled with suffering. All are, for lack of a term, look to be damned. But there is a strange sight in these blackened eyes of theirs. Not hope, but almost a ravenous hunger for something. The one in the front, one of these bloated figures, carries with them essentially a makeshift spear with a banner held aloft on it. Twin wings branching out from this side of this banner, bone white, with a sword through the center of it. The chanting continues as they march. You can see that where their feet leave from the mud, a bloody trail follows from where they are moving. For those that are hiding, I would like for you all to make stealth checks.
You know, you don't have to have us do stealth check. Really, it'll be
I
fine.
don't have to. I'm choosing to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You really don't have to.
What'd
really.
you get?
I
You'd
got
think
a
I'd be good at
3.
this. I got an 8.
I got a 15.
I got a
Mercy is like tucked in.
5.
12.
I have
So-
disadvantage on stealth checks.
So Mercy,
I'm just bad.
So Mercy and Isengrim, you're both pretty well hidden in the outcropping. Unfortunately, Alma's a bit less so. And as this troop continues to march, and Alma, you peek around a little bit to see as they move, your hand slips against one of the stones, and you hear it fall and almost echoingly hit the ground. And you see the damned stop their march. The lead with the spear and banner cranes its head and turns to look at you all. And you see them just confusingly look as if they're not quite sure what to make of you, and then their eyes drift up towards Thaddaeus and to the divine flame. And this ravenous look changes from almost a false hope that they hold to a murderous intent as they look upon the flame.
Can I minor illusion those wings and try to like have them up in front of us to mimic their banner?
Yeah, I will allow that. I'm gonna roll for them on something then.
Oh no.
This is fine. Everything's fine.
I don't know if this is a good idea, but
See them look to the wings. This lead figure stabbing the spear into the ground, and you see it like lurchingly move towards you into the seeing the sight of the wings. No. What? You don't smell. Damned. Not us. Fool. You.
We seek the counsel of the angel Sorio.
You seek Ariel.
I do.
What? Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
What purpose?
We would benefit from their wisdom.
They look between you all and look up towards the wings. Give me either persuasion or deception.
It's gonna be deception. I'm gonna use my mercy to reroll.
immediately.
Oh boy.
It's another 7. What the? Okay. Well,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Their wisdom is not good.
Oh, thank God.
I rolled a 10, which is a 4.
Wow.
You see this figure look to you, eyes narrow. Turns, grabs the spear, and begins to continue to march up this path. The others looking to him, confused, but joining the march nonetheless.
I'm
is
gonna.
everyone all right?
Can I hunter's mark the big guy?
You may absolutely hunter's mark the big guy.
Hunter's marking the big guy.
For the fun of it, what does your hunter's mark look like?
My hunter's mark looks like when like it for me, it would like zoom in and focus on him, and then like where everyone else is gray, he has an aura of like a gold or like an orangey aura around him, so I can always like pinpoint him among the crowd.
I like it. As they are marching, they have a direct path that they are looking to take, and you can see them taking this. upwards leading path. It seems treacherous, but it seems to also be that they are purposefully moving this way. It is your decision or discretion whether you choose to follow them or not, but you were told to follow.
Following seems to be the thing to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
I follow, but I keep my arrow just at the ready, and I always, like, I never take my eye off the guy who's leading everything.
And while they're following, it's a good time to also add to a bit more of the description of what you see around you. As this outcropping continues to move upwards, you get a much better look at the site of hell. Among other things, you can see this vast lake, but from where Charon is situated, you can see where his destination appears to be. In the center of this vast pool of roiling water, you can see a towering citadel, almost Colosseum-esque. A ringed fortress, massive blasting sconces adorning the top, and an empty, almost blackened pit in its center. You can hear calling, but you're too far away to make out what it sounds like. And every time that this call is sounded, almost punctuated by this whip-crack-like noise, and the chime of a bell. Along the side of the citadel, you almost can't... It's almost hard to describe outside of it being almost a cathedral. Appears to be adjacent to it. Another towering structure, much smaller than this, what, for lack of a better term, a judgment chamber. It almost looks like a respite. It's one of the calmer areas that you've seen. This roiling water doesn't seem to touch it. It feels out of place from the rest of Limbo. Among the other things that you all have spotted as well, these hosts of the damned that you can see that are not following the group just appear to be shuffling about aimlessly, their forms equally tortured, but almost resigned, in a sense, to their fates. And to punctuate all of this, there is no quiet in Limbo. When you cannot hear the screams of those descending as flaming comets from the blackened sky above, you can hear this almost consistent from the massive, large wasps and other insects that fly around, almost consistently stinging at the bodies of these different damned. Some get close, but they seem to avoid contact with the divine flame and keep their relative distance.
How big are the wasps?
Big. In terms of size, if you've ever seen a Japanese hornet,
Yeah.
you get those. A lot of those.
Okay.
So a good 2 inches.
They're nope size.
They are nope sized.
Should have been horse sized.
There's another whip crack. And again, this punctuation of the church bells, and you can see at one point, one of the hosts stops and looks over at the distance at the Colosseo, as I will refer to it. And they continue to march, almost moving a little bit faster.
Can I try and figure out what he just saw?
Give me a perception.
Let's go real dice, so... Because digital dice is rude.
Yes.
19.
You look back over to the Colosseum, and there is a moment, a fleeting moment, that you can see something there. Adjacent to this blackened abyss, with your extreme level of eyesight, you can see a open... I'm not going to describe it as a cathedral. I will call it like a judgment chamber. This opening, you can see several columns that line this area, and a thickened stone throne with something sitting upon it. And you see it call out something. You still cannot hear what it says, and something against its body lifts and cracks against the ground, making this whip noise. And you can see that chamber rotate once.
So... directed at Thaddaeus, and Isengrim, because they seem... Actually, directed at everybody, because they know more about religious shit than I do.
Not me!
Not me.
Tell me. Do angels have tails?
There are different types of angels. I have never seen any in person, but fallen angels could probably resemble demons. It's possible.
Heard of eyes, wings, flames, wheels, but no tails.
I will
I guess
add
we'll find
something to the thing that you saw. That whip wasn't coming from its back. It seemed to be coming, well, from its back. It seemed to be coming more from almost the base of where you would imagine the thing's neck is.
Cool. Do you know of the prophet Willow Smith?
You continue to march up. A new sound enters. This one, I would say for Thaddaeus and Isengrim, this one is familiar, but almost painful. It doesn't stir your memories, per se. You can't place why these noises are familiar, but a part of you really dislikes the sound. This almost choir, a singing. The voices are discordant, none of them match, and it's difficult to... And the reason why you realize why this sound you dislike is that voices in consistent pain cannot make a good song. But these are hymns. Something that hell has not heard in millennia, or even since its inception, a consistent praising to the divine will above. You see the hosts stop, and in front of them, a constructed cathedral stands before them, made of calcified stone and bone, as Charon described it. Sorry, great. And the host gestures to the cathedral.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Should we go in?
I think so.
Prepare
Forward.
yourselves.
This should be fun.
Certainly easier than fighting everybody behind us.
I missed the wolf. Can we go back to the wolf?
The wolf that killed us?
She had to do what she had to do, and she was really nice.
Maybe the angel will be nice as well.
I mean, this one fell.
In front of you, as you enter into this place, this seems to be barely constructed to be much of anything. It's a cathedral in a very loose sense. The most jarring thing that is here seems to be a makeshift stained glass window at its back. The thing that is displayed on there, none of you can really place. It doesn't seem to be... Ooh, oh no, please tell me my internet did not just die.
You're still visible.
He froze.
You
It is
froze
freeze.
though.
Yeah, you did freeze.
Love this. I guess we'll be right back. Give us a second. Technology.
The real hell is the internet.
The being displayed on the stained glass window, there's a sense of tainted holiness to it. You can see what appear to be an inlay of wings, around 12, that seem to encircle what is, at best, a ball of light in its center, where the light of Limbo itself shines forward through, illuminating the cathedral. At the center of this cathedral, there is a stone statue, seemingly had been there prior, a carving of what would best be illustrated as a what probably could be best illustrated as a former angel or possibly a demon, overpowering some of the hosts of the damned and dead. It's hard to tell, as what seem to have been the wings have been ripped away.
Yeah.
Several columns line the walls. These columns haven't been carved into to create what is essentially places for the hosts of the damned to sit and watch, of which each of these columns are filled with these damned and dead. There are cages that hang from this stone ceiling. All but one are empty. The one that is still filled, you can see, almost as if not caring about their situation, a figure that glimmers blue, their form almost floating above the bars of the cage. You see them give a quick glance to the group and look back to where they were situated. This almost looks similar to Orfeo in what it is in description. This kind of same, more spirit-esque creature than damned. The choir ceases their singing as all of you step inside.
Hello?
Thaddeus is just holding the divine light up from our guide, just as a beacon, a symbol.
We're seeking Soriel? Right? Same Soriel, right?
You see the damned don't respond immediately. However, you hear this tremendous sound, the wind rushing around as this unfurling noise can be heard. You seek an audience with me, and you carry with you a portion of the divine. I knew that my prayers would go answered soon. This sound again, this as more wind seems to push outwards.
So we, yes, we're seeking some wisdom from you.
Wisdom I can provide. I can provide many things, but it is not my wisdom that I must share. My manners, a moment. And you hear from the back of this cathedral, near where the stained glass is, the slow sound of footsteps into the dry earth. you all are granted your first sight of what is an indifferent angel. All pretense of the glory of the divine will manifested into what was essentially his first creation is removed from what you see before you. Though their bodies are still divine in form, Soriel is a physically imposing looking figure, standing well above 7 foot, possibly around 8 or 9 feet in height. Their form, though muscular, is dirty. You can see scarring against his body, almost stained perpetually by the sight of limbo around him. His wings, though possibly once beautifully white, are blackened not by any fault of his own, but seem to just be stained consistently. They move and flap, but he doesn't lift. And it seems that there are parts of his feathers in his wings that are clipped downwards, preventing him from flying. But there seems to be something wrong with also how his wings move. You would expect them to furl out and in, but they almost seem to twist and move back. And you realize that this is because the wings are upside down. His face is covered in this, again, dirty and grime-encrusted shawl, preventing you from seeing what his face looks like. And almost surprisingly, as if he can't see, but he moves with all the steadiness of one that can. The shawl does not move as his head moves. It remains locked in place. What sense of holiness there must have been for this thing before you is removed. He stands before you, his hands crossing together. I am Soriel, one of the divine will's firstborn. Who are you all?
I'm Mercy. Pleasure to meet you. And these are my companions. I kind of like just gesture.
I am Thaddaeus. We are travelers. Our goal is to leave this place.
That is our goal as well. Truly.
We could possibly work together.
Be interested to hear what ideas you may have. Go on with the introductions, I'm sorry. She gestures.
Isengrim, Weylin. Thaddaeus is just kind of prodding. Isengrim, Weylin. Introduce yourselves. Be sociable.
I'm Isengrim. I believe all of us are lost here somehow. That includes you, I think.
I made a decision that I thought was the correct path long ago. I have come to understand it was not, and seek forgiveness for my acts.
I feel your regret, although I don't know why.
Wings move once more. It looks over to Weylin and Alma, respectively.
I am Weylin.
It's hard to tell who he is looking at when he speaks, as you can't see where his eyes land. Though his head has moved to the point where it's either to Weylin or to Alma. And you, little one.
Can I make a survival check super quick?
You may absolutely make a survival check.
Everyone's just going around telling this person our name, and I'm just like, Okay, so that's that, and then hold on, I know how to do math. Okay, that's a 17.
It seems less so that he is trying to garner something from learning your names, and is more so that he is restricted in terms of how he interacts with people in a way that it is painfully formal.
So it's okay to tell him my name.
Yes, it seems less so that he is trying to ascertain something from learning your name, and more so that there's a structure to things that he is used to following, and he will follow it.
Okay, that's fair. I am Alma. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure to meet all of you. Were it in better circumstances, I could offer something as respite, but unfortunately in this place devoid of his light, there is no respite here, aside from that we make for ourselves.
Why do you have someone in a cage?
Looks upwards. Ibizia. She is one that is difficult to ascertain their purpose here. I thought that she came initially in the same way that you all did, or like many of the others here, to learn of my sermons and understand what I wish, but her actions and her words are unfortunately just as tainted as the rest of this place. And I could not have her try to disrupt that which I am intending to do by finding others. It is unfortunate, but it is safer for us and her to remain there.
You disagree with her words and put her in a cage.
I disagree with actions that would prevent the mercy I am trying to seek.
You mentioned that you also would like to leave this place. What efforts or hindrances is preventing you from leaving this place?
The blasted ferryman in charge of directing lost souls refuses me passage.
I have an idea. If you were to travel with us, he has expressed interest, I believe, in this individual you have in a cage. That may be worth passage. And you could travel with us as we seek to escape. We could all work together.
There's a moment of tenseness that passes. You can't see his face. You can see his wings shift. And from the cage you hear that is almost a rich sentiment. If what Soriel sought could be provided by Kara.
And what does Soriel seek?
Soriel seeks to return to what he views as his rightful place. Seated again upon Paradiso, something that will never come to pass. Not for him. You see Soriel's wings again twitch, and Evizia turns her head again to face the wall.
This is something, we've only been here a short time, but I have learned two things because it has been mentioned multiple times. This place has a process, or processes, rules, ways of doing things. Those of us with hope have a different set of rules that apply to us. We have opportunity. We can escape. I believe I can bless you. I can provide you hope. You still would have the same journey and the same challenges we would have to make, but it may give you an opportunity to leave just as we have an opportunity to leave.
There is something that I think the others notice as you are telling him this. At your mention of I can bless you, Soriel tenses. You hear Ebizia laugh, and there's a moment, and you see Soriel seem to get pensive.
Absolution is not restricted for those who truly do wish to change and who have faith.
I know of the process of how this blasted place functions. You do not see many of my kind here, but this, the antechamber of hell, limbo, is where all but the greatest of our brothers resides. It is where we have been punished to remain for our crime. For many, it was our lack of forethought or foresight into things, but also our abject desire to follow what we viewed as the status quo of things that our greatest brother charged us with. I know that the process dictates that I am to remain here. But this is not a place for me or for my kind. Those of us who were made before you, you must forgive my tone and my, I suppose it would be irritation at a word there. For you to deign to bless me is akin to an insult, I'm afraid, in the same sense of an elephant would not accept a scrap of food from an ant. Unfortunate, as he places a hand onto your shoulder, Thaddaeus, a being like you, though created in his image, are molded clay in comparison to those of us born of gold that knew of his light before you saw the dawn of it. Now, if you were to find a way to convince that indolent savage to grant me passage, and to my rightful place in paradise, that I can accept.
By your own words, Golden One, you belong here. And I do not travel with men who keep women in cages.
Hold. Again, the boatmaster, has expressed interest in this individual you have caged. As I have said, if you bring this individual with you, he will probably accept that as passage for you.
It is offering payment for what should be a right. Feels wrong. I would be willing.
Is it not worth trying? Is it not worth the chance, the opportunity?
See him look up to Ibizia, who looks down towards Weylin. Kind of looks forward again. Even an offering of one such as me, though I appreciate Charon's desire to see where I should be, would do nothing to help you, Sariel. Charon, above all of us, understands his place here. And he will not break his rules, not lightly, and not for you.
He is willing to break them for us.
You are not him.
You are also... I would not regard you as a exception to the rule, but your place here in hell is not a guarantee. Charon would rather see you all leave so that the status quo is not disrupted, as opposed to anything else.
You are not wrong. But he would look kindly upon an offering from you as well. He asked little for passage. And
What
if
did
you
he ask?
Your head.
Not exactly. He has simply requested that you ceased opposing him. Now, if you choose to travel with us and provide your captive as payment for your passage, then you will no longer be here to oppose him, and you will be one step closer to leaving this place.
Sariel seems to think, and he crosses his arms. You'll have to forgive that my trust in the words of Charon are slim. But we may have a... What is the word you mortals love to utilize? An accord, if you will. If I have Charon's word that I will be able to have passage, I will freely let her go and cease my rebellion. However, I will not march myself like these, as he gestures to the damned, droves of those who have been born in sin and mired in it. I wish for his word, and I wish for yours. A favor, then. That torch you carry, the one you hold that provides his light, this divine will of his, leave it here. When I have his word and you return, then I will go with you.
Perhaps, what if we maybe we write a little note, have him sign it, bring it back?
Again, to trust the words of mortals. Mercy was your name, yes?
Yeah. Well, we're not going anywhere. We're stuck like you are right now.
You'll have to forgive me. Part of the reason I am here is because I trusted the word of my greatest brother, who you now know of as the Prince of Lies. You'll have to forgive that a note or a written word means very little to me.
We are not.
Then how
brother.
do you...
We are clay, and you are gold. When has clay ever betrayed gold?
The words of clay in comparison mean very little.
Then
But I know that this...
how would you propose we bring back his word if you will not listen to us?
You see him run a finger against the side of the torch. I recognize this light. And I know that if you are truthful, you will return for it. And if you do lie, and it's here, then I can find some far better use for it.
Two things. One, we are already borrowing it. It is not ours to give. Two, we need it for our passage. It is not ours to give to anyone. It does not actually belong to us. It does not answer to us. It belongs to another, to our guide.
As we're talking, can I just look up at the cage? Is there any like visible way to unlock it easily? Or
You can see this almost like raw iron latch that's against it. It is hanging from the ceiling. I would say like the only way to
I have a mage
anything.
hand.
Yeah.
But it's not like just a silly latch.
No, it would take some doing.
Okay. Gotta ask.
Question.
Yes.
Well, as this is going on, Weylin is getting more and more frustrated. So
no.
How
so solid.
how many arrows would it take for me to shoot down the cage randomly? Just
or just the latch, maybe?
To shoot down the cage?
Yes.
There is the chain that holds it. Either a real good shot or a couple arrows.
Okay.
The latch, probably the same way. Yes, Alma?
Could I, how, like, sturdy is this?
It is a iron cage.
Yeah, okay. I would say you think if I could just, if I did thunder wave up, it could maybe mess with it.
The thing about Thunderwave, it probably would mess with it. There is a person in it.
Yeah, I also have healing word. I was gonna take care of that afterwards.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no, but we'll do something.
Could there be a way to angle it so it just hits the front of the cage?
I'd probably have
Be
to
the question.
move.
You Alma would need to move in a way that would allow for that, but yes.
The other option was poison spray, but I didn't think poison or a produce flame was going to do anything to it.
We found that one.
Since this angel dude is pissing me off, and if I stand any closer to him, I will shoot him in the head. I'm gonna just wander casually with my arrow and get myself in a nice spot where I can get at least one good shot in to try and break the chain of the cage.
I'll say as you wander, you do get into a pretty good position against one of the columns. That would give you better line of sight to the cage.
I'm also going to just watching. I'm just going to wander just in case that doesn't work. Because I have a backup, but it's a really bad idea.
Love it.
Thaddaeus had mentioned earlier that he can give this fallen angel hope. And so he's now referring back to that. I said I could give you hope. Do you trust that?
Do I trust the words of a son of Adam?
And if I can prove to you that I can give you hope, will you follow? Will you bring your passage? Will you trust?
if you can prove that you can provide for me hope, something that, by all accounts, is gone here, I will consider your offer.
Thaddeus reaches up. He takes one of the gems off of his torch. He reaches out and extends it. And I imagine that as it floats towards this angel, it changes from a gem into a miniature divine light and heads towards the angel. I offer you my hope freely. Do you accept his light? Do you accept his hope? The choice is yours.
I'm taking this opportunity.
I
to
am
shoot
making
the
this
cage.
sacrifice. Oh my God.
Amazing.
You are shooting the cage.
I'm taking this opportunity while he's distracted by the shiny thing to shoot the cage.
Give me an attack roll.
I adore Weylin.
I'm going to.
Oh gosh.
As you are doing this, I would like to know, Thaddeus, what are you offering him?
I am offering him part of his own hope. If Thaddeus were to have given absolution, this would have been the sacrament. Hope.
Okay. So.
I got a natural 20, by the way.
I'm going to address that.
Weylin is so cool.
I want
Yes.
We also have to worry about the fact she
something.
is about to fall from the ceiling.
She's already
In a
dead.
cage. It's still gonna hurt.
Look this
We
down.
had this.
This is your. What you are, in a sense, offering.
Yes.
Okay. So there's
That
a
is
thing.
what he is offering.
Okay, so there's a thing about what you're offering. All right.
Hope is the only thing of value in hell.
You are correct.
We need it to survive. We need it to escape. It is necessary.
Is this from... Okay.
And this has already been mentioned to us. We have already been told by Karen, by the guide, how important hope is. That hope is the only thing of value in hell. It is the only form of real currency.
So, as you have reached out with this...
Yes.
And he seems curious and holds up his hand. Hey, Weylin, go ahead and roll me damage.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the... Okay, it's a D8. Alright. Hey! I like this die.
And you got a crit, so it's maximize initial dice roll and then another die.
Well, I got max on this too.
Hey.
16, 20... 20.
So yeah, you see Soriel lift his hand to grab and just as the cage plummets, hits the ground and breaks open. Ibiza just tumbling out of it for a moment. Doesn't appear hurt, but only in the sense that, like, she can't appear anything. She is a spirit. And Soriel's head snaps to see what's happened and looks to Weylin.
I do not travel with men who keep women in cages.
They're
Yes.
no longer in the cage. Let us stop the hostilities. You're not helping.
I suppose, if this is what I believe that it is, I can ignore this transgression.
I offer of my own.
He will take it. This is one of your hope points, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And with this, it gives you the opportunity to travel with us and leave. It has been explained to us that only those with hope can leave.
Okay. I'm going to
You
address
now
a
have
thing
that chance.
I'm going to address a thing that you have done and reward you for this. Oh,
He's also
boy.
hoping that if this works, we now have a more powerful traveling companion as well.
That I'm so ready to kill. I'm joking.
You're ready to kill everybody.
He takes
That is a good point.
I just really
Okay.
want a feather.
Before I continue with what happens, I need to say something.
Yes.
You found a way that I wasn't expecting to avoid a necessary fight. You are I'm amazed by this. Okay. As he takes this, you can't see his face through the cloth, but as you see this hope wash over him, you see him look around. And his shoulders, which were held rigid, sink down. Ibizia stands and feigns brushing off her robe. And you see Sariel look to her, look to the rest of you.
Hope and health are in this train. Faith revives.
He looks around at the chamber around him. My rebellion depart from me. Take her with you. Depart from me. The damned will follow. And you see him look towards the statue and heads towards it and sits down just in front of it.
May I ask, will you be okay? What now do you see yourself? Do you see your opportunity, your aspirations?
There is no opportunity. Hope is for those that could regain his
mercy is unending.
For those of you that are his favored children. We were not meant to betray. My place and that of my kin is here.
Very well.
And
I
you can
do
see the damned begin to file down.
I do hope, honestly, sincerely, that you find a better way. That you at least accept peace.
Go with his will.
Thank you.
Ibizia looks to the group, looks over to Weylin. Unexpected, but I suppose If it ends with me free, I'm not opposed to it.
Please join us.
Of course.
That was
And
better than what I had planned.
I shudder to think what you had planned. If me falling 15 feet in a cage was the better option.
Would have been better if that thing's corpse was there to cushion your fall.
Agreed.
Also agreed.
Isengrim
this-
is like
okay, though.
visibly shaken and furious. Just like
Isn't-
white knuckling the banner.
Oh, Thaddeus is not pleased at all.
Isn't Sariel still sitting
Yes.
right in front of us?
He's not in front of you. He's in front of the statue.
In front of
which
the
is
statue.
in front of you. The door's behind you.
Can I look for a couple feathers before we head out?
Yes!
You know what? Absolutely. Give me a perception check.
So sorry.
No, I'm amazed at what you all did.
It's an 11.
There's a few scattered feathers around, a few blackened feathers. You can gather about 6.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Great.
Go ahead and add into your inventory indifferent angel feathers.
Alma just
Best thing
sees
I've ever
this
done.
and goes,
Weylin is gonna keep their eyes on that angel, and if they so much as twitch, as everyone files out, like, I'ma shoot him.
Weylin, please join us. You should lead. Go.
I'm gonna be the last one out. I'm not gonna shoot a guy in the back, but like, even if
Sariel
Yes,
has
you
not
would.
moved from his place. He appears to be crying.
Oh.
At least.
get no sympathy from me, golden one, and then I leave.
It has been about an hour and a half. I think right about now is a good time to call for about a 10-minute break. Refresh, get some drinks, get some food, and we will be back shortly.
See yas. And we're
After avoiding a fight with Sariel, and the group begins to walk out, I would like for everyone to go ahead and roll me a d20. This is for my own sake.
Let's go special die. Well, I'm glad you got that out of your system now. I got a 2.
I got an 8. It sat on the 20 that popped over to an 8.
Okay.
11.
Same, 11.
That's 20!
Yeah.
All right.
Woo!
Nice.
As you all are continuing to walk, Hypatia, she seems to look to you all, and she starts to walk backwards as she begins to address you. You are mortals, then, yes? Not the indifferent damned like the rest. You are alive.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
Why were you in a cage?
I was attempting to dissuade our winged friend from his course of action. As Karen likes to put it, there is a purpose and a order to things here, and the disruption of that purpose and order is not beneficial to anyone. He did not like that.
Alma's gonna reach over and just try to grab the torch out of Thaddeus's hand.
He does not let her. He just moves the torch. Keep walking. I have done nothing wrong.
No,
You
you just
can't
I
irritate
just do
me.
not feel the need to try to kill everything.
I wasn't going to
I
kill
would prefer
him.
to try and
He would.
save.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I didn't say it like it was a bad thing.
When we cannot actually kill them and they will simply reform within moments, yes, it is a bad thing. Because then they're just going to turn around and be able to kill us.
And then we'll reform within moments. It really isn't
Yes.
a bad thing.
Yes, never-ending death.
You have it a bit confused about how a few things operate here. Yes, they can reform. Many of the denizens here would not. There is really only one that would continue to attack if defeated and reformed.
And who's that?
Herbero.
Ubero?
Sorry. He's gone by a few names. Cerberus, Cerbero, Kerbero.
Hey,
Oh.
And that is simply because it is his duty
Nature.
to devour. The others are a bit more sapient, understand their position, and know that if defeated once, they could be defeated again. And though the cycle is continual, it is not fun.
This is useful knowledge. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yes.
Though it is also more so trivia more than anything else. Truly, my curiosity is about all of you. Your stories. Where are you all from?
That's a difficult answer. We don't really remember our past. We know only of our, well, present. We woke up in a forest.
Well, a demon did recognize me here.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all, though, so... Yeah.
Which is something you would think you might remember.
I would hope so, but no.
At the risk of being that guy, can I do an insight check on that?
Sure.
On me?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
7 again.
I mean,
can I do an insight check?
sure. Whoever wants to do an insight check, do one.
Yay.
My
Oh, what the
insight
hell?
check would be on the chick who fell out of the.
You
Cage.
Go ahead.
Come on, good dice.
Yeah.
I think
I
I'm
got
like-
a 9.
Oh, I got a 9.
Hey.
So, for Alma, Thaddeus, Isengrim, Mercy seems to be telling the truth in the sense that Yeah, no recollection of why this demon would know them. Weylin, as far as you can tell, she isn't a cagey individual. Ha! I did just catch that pun after I said it. No, you're good. I'm normally better at that. She seems to just be very curious about you all. But not in a malicious way, it's just she seems to like stories.
Is she cute?
Yeah.
Okay.
For cuteness.
And I rolled to romance for the game.
There is, just for that sake, as you continue to watch as they speak and they move, you feel this almost strange connection. And a memory starts to unfog. As you grasp onto you find yourself your memory falls into a mist-filled forest. Your armor is different, much more leather-like. Your bow and arrow, much more solid thing. Not this boned and antlered creation, but solid wood. You see beside you allies in varying arrays of armor. You can hear the war drums in the distance. This memory that unlocks for you is now firm in your mind, and you can place this is during the war. Post the Great War, along with the Empire. This is the only memory that you have solid thoughts on.
You, like, Weylin was in the back of everything, so I don't know if anybody would notice, but, I stop and try and try and bring back more of that memory. And
to try, everything else is still foggy.
Yeah. And I look around to, like, expecting to see the comrades that I just saw, but I'm back with these strangers that I met however long ago.
You're right, Weylin.
I'm fine.
They make a perception check on Weylin.
Sure.
There's a deep sigh. Are you
That's a nat
wrestling?
20.
God damn it.
Weylin is
Not fine.
not fine. Weylin is going through some stuff.
Alma's not gonna share that with the group. She's just gonna like let herself fall to the back, knowing that the others won't notice. And like how Thaddaeus didn't even notice that she was there at the place. And she just like falls to the back while everyone's walking, waiting to carry on a conversation. And goes, I know you're lying.
Really?
I can tell.
Perceptive.
It comes in handy.
It does.
It's easier to survive when you notice things.
It is.
Just try not to shoot me.
I have no reason to. Do not
I have
give
no reason
me
to
a
tell the
reason.
others you're lying.
Thank you.
And if you didn't shoot her down, I was about to do something worse, so.
I'm curious.
You say do something worse.
I don't have his finesse.
To be fair, I was hung, so I don't know if that's much worse.
It would have been
Apologies
worse.
for harming you.
It's fine. At this point, hell is dull. A bit of excitement was needed.
It's terrifying that you find that exciting.
I'm nothing if not exciting.
I bet.
So where you journey to after this?
Unsure. I will probably continue to walk with you, allow Caron to take me to wherever he wants me to go, and find my place there. Outside of that, I have no real desire to do much of anything else.
You're very
It's not-
welcome with us. I don't know if I can speak for the others, but at least in my own name, I can say that I'd be very pleased to have you keep traveling with us.
Having an escort is always fun. Haven't had ones of an armored variety in quite some time, but be that as it may, it is pleasant.
I do not object to you staying.
You seek passage from Caron. Where are you heading?
On.
Home, hopefully. Eventually.
That is going to be a journey.
We have heard that there has been one other to have made the journey, and we're following the trail.
You have far to go.
Yes.
You are only upon the surface of hell. There is far more torment underneath. And you would still have to pass through the halls of judgment to even make it any further. Something I am hoping to skip by.
If you know how, we are definitely
Not
listening.
to skip the halls of judgment. Unfortunately, you would have to already be dead and be ordained as a noble spirit. At that point, you could go to a place of permanent rest for those like me, in which we can sit and debate upon such philosophies and other such things that were frivolous to us in our past life, but should be of some small entertainment now.
What does a noble spirit have to fear from judgment?
We are not without our own sins. And
Judgment.
only a few
I'm sorry,
are...
please continue.
Only a few noble spirits do not allow their sins to weigh so heavy upon them that they are accepted into the halls of discourse.
And who would do the judging in these halls of justice or judgment?
The regent of Limbo, King Minos. Isengrim, Alma, Thaddaeus, Weylin. You would like to make me a history roll.
With my zero history.
Mercy, if you would like to make me a... You can also make me a history roll. Yours will be a bit more difficult.
Okay.
14.
Hey, I also got a 14.
I'm doing math. Give me a sec.
I got a 14.
I got an 11.
Darn it, you killed it.
We almost had a Yahtzee.
It's okay. We've
We
established
got
that
a
almost
Yahtzee.
forgetful and
Isengrim, what
forgetful
was
and
yours?
useless.
15.
Ooh.
So, Mercy, the name Minos sounds familiar. You have probably read about it in a tome or heard about it from a bard, but it seems like a story, not so much a figure.
Okay.
For most of the rest of you, the name Minos sounds familiar. Placing it, like, yeah, King Minos, familiar sounding. Where have I heard it? Isengrim. King Minos. Or Minos was a king of an ancient Greek island. As far as you remember, his name is more so a story of the birth of the Minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
But that's as far as you can recall. You do know that there was, at one point, a actual King Minos, but you can't place anything else.
So I know King Minos, Greece, Minotaur.
You know King Minos, Greece, Minotaur.
I'm gonna share that with the others.
No, Isengrim, you are wrong. And he's the one where you touch and it turns to gold.
That is
Midas.
Midas.
That's Midas.
I think I heard a story. Wasn't there something about a maze? I'm not sure.
Or maybe he turns things into bulls. You're confusing me, Weylin.
You see, suppose he's walking. Oh no, you'll probably will meet Midas at some point. He's going by a different name now, and is far more irritating and cruel.
Sounds lovely.
Also, isn't the wife the one that turns people into wolves?
She looks to Alma. Okay, there are some things wrong with that sentence. You are partially correct.
I
No.
don't get it.
I don't know. I'm just here.
But
I'm sorry. Did the Minotaur find its way into hell as well?
she pauses, and you see a visible look of fear on her face. Yes. You are aware of Hell's geography, yes? The circles.
Yes.
You mentioned you had a guide. I was hoping you would have explained that much.
Yes. But if you wanted to maybe draw us a picture.
She like looks at the cloth that you have and gestures for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna like hand it over.
Takes
One
it,
of these little feathers.
Yeah, takes the feather. And you see her like place the end bit of the feather into her mouth, and as she withdraws it, you see this blackened, what looks like ink form, and she begins to scrawl out onto the parchment. What is essentially your guys' first true map of hell.
Nice.
You see this cone-like I'm trying to think of the word I could want to describe it. Like a cross-section of this cone. At the top, as she has labeled each bit, you notice that as she's labeled it, it first appears as a language that really only Thaddaeus and Isengrim you guys initially recognize immediately, as it is Latin, and it translates for everyone into what would be kind of considered common. Top, you see limbo. As it goes down, you see lust, gluttony, greed, violence, and that, and she just puts symbols as she's marking each of these things. The next one you see heresy, but she underlines that and puts dite. I have to look at my map.
As she's writing all this, do any of us get any type of like, I don't know, gut feeling when like our level of hell's hit at all?
Yes. As she's listing off these areas, when she lists to where the circles are that you feel this pull, there's this sinking sensation. At the 7th, she puts the rounds. At 8th, Malbolgia. And at 9th, Hokkaido. These are the circles, the representations of the various sins. You'll also learn that each one of these is what is, at its best, the greater the sin against the divine will, the more dangerous the area.
Right. And as we proceed, each area is more dangerous than the one preceding it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
They also will have their own guardians and denizens. Things that you would do best to interact with, things you do best to avoid. For instance, Kerberos in gluttony, the Minotaur in violence, the giants in Kakaito. And of course, there is all the other myriad of things that could harm you in between.
Had some dealings already.
You did mention a demon. What was his name you said?
Yeah. Oh shit. What was his name?
Jeff.
Thaddaeus.
Thaddaeus.
You've already met the one I mentioned. Interesting.
He said he remembered me.
That's
Remembered my
unfortunate.
scent.
That's unfortunate.
Do you think he's gonna be a problem?
The collector? Yes.
Oh gosh.
To be fair, any Malbranch is a problem.
Do you think he would try to collect mercy?
And what does he collect?
Exactly.
The only thing worth anything here in hell, souls.
Mm.
Not that it will do him much of anything, but he enjoys having a prize. Though I imagine he honestly gives some of his gifts over to our truly hell's only ruler.
Oh.
Wiz.
The powerful and terrifying Queen of the Kingdom of Everlasting Lamentation. I am sorry, I'm trying to actually find her name. I wrote it down. Eket.
Is she cute?
She kind of gives like a.
And this collector, is he weak to something?
Not that I know of, but I also don't really. She like raises her hands, not the fighter.
We'll see then.
Is there a way to summon him to us?
What, Thaddaeus? No.
I think he'll
Not that
find me.
Not that I know of. If he wants to find you, he will.
I really wish I could remember something.
He tends to stick around green, as far as the circle is concerned.
Greed?
Greed.
Hmm.
Is it?
None of us are without sin.
Speaking of which, and this might be a breach of the etiquette of hell, but I find myself curious as to what landed you here.
If I were to be judged and placed into a place in hell, as opposed to earning my position, let's see. I suppose I could be called a blasphemer, a heretic. Truly, it was because I questioned the teachings of those in power of the divine will of my church, of the Pope. I was branded a witch and hung.
Which?
Not for any magical capabilities.
Oh.
Branded as such because I dared to question, and they needed an excuse to get rid of my voice. Something that I have continued to utilize on my time here.
We've
Can't be hung,
noticed.
but can be caged.
Interesting. So, does this information trigger anything with Thaddeus? As far as recollection
Does
and memory?
as you gain a memory of your time in the church, your own preachings, and in a sense, your own blasphemies. Though you wouldn't have called them that in your time.
Well, no. He was a jurist for the Inquisition, and he tried and burned heretics at the stake.
Yep. You would, at the best bit of your memory, understand why they would have taken these actions.
Yes.
Though, as you are moving, you do see more of these hosts of the damned. Some of them no longer look unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
You can recognize and place some of their faces. Not that you had a particular hand in these specific ones, but the memories, but the memories of those imprisoned by and executed do pass through your memories now, and you can see them for what they used to look like. Equally, Weylin, as you go through some of pass through some of the indifferent, you can recognize no longer that they are no longer naked, but they are clothed in ragged and rusted armor. Fresh wounds, still bleeding.
Is Weylin the only one seeing that?
Weylin is the only one that sees those in armor. Thaddeus is the only one that sees those in essentially ragged clothing and chained.
And he's not sharing.
Yeah, neither is Weylin.
The sound of the lapping shore can be heard as the sight of Charon's towering figure standing beside his boat can be seen as well.
Now, the Horde of the Damned, have they preceded us, or are they marching behind us?
You can hear them marching behind, but you also notice that the boat is a bit more loaded now, and Charon is starting to arrange himself to be able to depart.
Should we run up?
Yes.
You also see
Definitely.
Orfeo sitting there, just kind of messing with his lyre a little. You act like you didn't miss me.
I've had much better company.
The feeling is mutual. I see you have found another of my kind.
I did mention better company.
Well, that's fair, I suppose. And as this is said, Charon's eyes turn, and you do see them soften a bit. The sight of Elysia. Pull myself back into Charon's voice. Right then, so you did manage to find her.
Did. And Freer. Well, not me. Weylin.
And of Sariel.
He
Hey,
won't be a
crying.
problem to you anymore.
And
He has been
Good.
punished.
good. Pleased to hear this. I suppose then I will honor our accord. I do not want to keep His Majesty waiting.
I'm gonna just hop on a boat.
You see him tap the side of the ship, and you see the front end of it drop down to allow for you to get on.
On.
As
Bored.
all of you enter, including Orfeo and Elysia, it's not until Weylin, you're the first one on, it's not until you step onto the boat that you actually see the boat list and dip down deeper into the water.
Oh.
The boat is laden with the indifferent, but it only seems to
But
carry
we're
weight when the rest of you get on.
Interesting.
I don't like what you're implying. Yeah,
Yes.
Wayland's gonna take that into account, but is also going to hope that his companions notice that too, because he's not saying anything.
I think Mercy doesn't notice it all. She's just like, fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Just taking it all in.
There is this moment of calm, and once more, you all hear the whip crack, the church bell. Pause. Violence! Whip crack, church bell. You are actually able to pick up what the initial call is.
It is a call to violence.
Moments pause. Gluttony.
It's a judgment.
Yeah.
The boat lists, pushes forward, and begins to drift slowly into the water. It is initially, as it begins to first move, calm. Until it gets into the deep water. Charon's oar pushes in and continues to move, but as it does, you can see the souls that it is pulling up the dam that are trying to claw their way back onto the ship. He has to swing the oar to get them off, and this causes the boat to move. Normally, with the indifferent damned alone, it wouldn't move that much. It wouldn't list that hard. Mortal sins weighing the boat down means it lists violently. As it moves, and he swings the oar, the ship rocks to the left and to the right, and some of the water washes aboard. Carrying some of the indifferent damned along with it, I would like everyone to give me a dexterity saving throw.
I'm
Oh.
bad at these.
No.
Damn it.
And Thaddeus, you still have the torch, yes?
Oh yes, he still has the divine.
Okay.
11.
Yeah.
This is saving throw or skill check?
17.
Ooh, wait.
This is just a saving throw. Okay.
Saving throw.
That's a 12.
24.
10.
24.
10.
1 second.
I'm really good at dexterity.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No,
Wayland is very
that-
dexterous.
am not.
-1.
Oh, nice.
Who got below a 14? Isengrim and Mercy, both of you do hit the deck of the ship. Both of you are knocked prone. Thaddeus, you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And lose your grip on the torch. And it begins to roll.
Mage hand.
Same thing. Yeah, he also
I was
has
gonna
mage
just
hand.
run for it.
You got 3 casters here.
I would like you all cast. I would like all of you to make dexterity checks.
I'm not casting, I just wanted to grab it.
Yes.
Because I'm not prone, so I just wanted to grab it.
I would like for you also to make a dexterity check.
Okay.
I got
I
a
guess I could
13.
try as well.
That's a 14.
12.
5.
The mage hands activate, and Alma, you dive for it. Your hand just barely misses it as it rolls. Both the mage hands, all the mage hands, move forward to grab hold, and they all just miss as it drops from the deck directly into the Acheronte. And it floats up. You can still see it sticking out of the water.
Mage hand still going for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So you both, I won't fight that as you both of your mage hands grasp hold of the torch and start to lift it out of the water. You can see some of the damned clawing against the sides of it, trying to hold onto it as well to pull it up.
Can I shoot them? I haven't
Absolutely.
shot anything yet.
You know what? You absolutely.
So I have a thing I wanted to ask if I can do.
Yes.
Can I cast Entangle? So hopefully the thing's just caught in a thorns and I can just grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll allow that.
Okay, then that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm just gonna do Hail of Thorns. It's the only casty thing I got. If you could give me what are you? Is it Wisdom? What the frick? It's a save. It is a saving throw, Dexterity or Wisdom. I can't remember. Yeah.
Dexterity.
Yeah, Dexterity versus DC Wisdom.
That's a 1.
Yeah.
They
A Hail of Thorns on all those mofos.
So as pretty much everyone is pulling the torch from the water, you see some more of the Indifferent trying to hold on to it. You move onto the deck and fire an arrow down, and as you do, it splits off into essentially just 1,000 shrapnel shards of thorns that pierce into the Acheronte, and you see these damned release their hold on the torch immediately and just sink back into the water, still screaming in agony. And the torch, as it lifts up, Orfeo is the one that snatches a hold of it and pulls it towards himself. Ah. That would have been very bad.
We saved it.
We.
I'm going to hold on to it for now.
That might be for the best.
I agree. Is there any way we can place ourselves on the boat so that it rocks less?
I would say you could spread yourselves out along the boat.
I'm also going to tie rope that I have onto a hand axe that I have, and then I'm gonna just smash it into the deck and tie everybody like together on it, wherever they are strategically.
Yeah,
But,
as you bring your axe out onto the deck of the ship looks ragged, just a messed up ship. But even as you do, you can see Charon wince.
So
It's like
we
seeing-
should spread out for proper trim.
It's like seeing in the most real world description, it's like seeing somebody who just has a real beat up Oldsmobile, but still it gets a new scratch on it, and it's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best way to describe Karen's reaction to that.
Okay. I'm gonna stick my foot on the axe so it doesn't wobble, and make sure it's like an anchor point for everybody who I saw fall on their butt and drop the thing off the ship.
Only one person dropped the thing off the ship.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna at you or anything. I was just gonna.
Does us spreading out help calm the ship?
It doesn't list as much to one side. It's still, all of you can see that it is not as lifted out of the water as it was before you all got onto it.
There's probably not enough time, but Mercy, being Mercy, is gonna try to get her sea legs a little bit, and she's gonna start ritually casting Find Familiar, even though she has no idea if it's enough time or not.
Well, there will definitely be enough time. Ritual casting is about 10 minutes.
It's an hour.
Oh, is it an hour?
It's an hour and 10.
You all definitely have enough time. This is going to constitute as a short rest if you all need it for anything.
Sexy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. As you are ritual casting. You just see here from the side. That's a spell. I haven't heard one of those in a long time.
Yeah, well, I know I had a familiar, and it'd be nice to have a little bit of that comfort again. Something familiar.
I get it. I used to learn about casting in school. Was among the other classes and things like that.
Really?
Yeah. It was nice at the time.
Yeah, I miss school. I'm trying to learn here too.
Didn't get to enjoy too much of it, but you know.
Yeah. Well, you can sit with me while I cast this.
Absolutely. And you see him sit, and for the first time, Mercy, you see a damned that you recognize. No longer this amorphous thing.
Oh no.
Ragged blonde hair. Cut short on one side. The other side is shaved. You can see these concentric markings along that side. He seems fair-skinned, in the sense of like a noble's sense of being fair-skinned, as if hadn't seen a lot of sunlight. Would be considered boyishly cute, if not for the jagged, almost animal-like marks that run along the neck and right side of his body that still seem to be fresh wounds. And this memory returns. This was... You see, you recognize a school. I went to a school. This was Victor. Can't place a last name. You remember there were more of you besides just him. You were trying to do something, a spell maybe? It worked, but you lost control of whatever it was. Victor was the first of the victims.
I didn't ask how big the room was.
I think I get like this really intense, like, smell of salt for a moment, and kind of look at him, and I'm gonna keep casting. I don't think Mercy's gonna point out that she knows him. And like this guilt, this like really big creeping guilt, and she's just gonna kind of like find comfort in the familiarity of just like casting something she definitely knows how to do right.
Now, if I recall what you wanted your familiar to be.
The Bizzle chicken. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think Mercy's familiar Constantine was actually a raven.
Yeah.
But I think when she calls him here,
Yeah. So
not a raven.
as your spell finishes, and you see this summoning circle form, and it forms initially like your summoning circles form, and then you see this red flame as it forms into a pentagram. This gout of fire, initially, just this massive, like almost a geyser of flame shoots out, and then begins to peter down, just as this puff of black smoke, and you just hear first this kind of an initially cute cooing. You're like, it's a bird, I did it!
Constantine. Oh god.
As this fleshy, almost isosceles triangle-shaped monstrosity with a frog mouth-like mouth and sharp teeth forms as your familiar, an abyssal chicken, appears before
Constantine.
you.
You said it was a monstrosity?
They look like monstrosities.
No.
Do I see it? Does Weylin see it?
We hope not.
You saw, so I'm not going to pretend like none of you saw this geyser of fire, and then this puff
fine.
of smoke,
Yeah.
and then you
Everything's
can hear
fine.
this,
Everything's
and then
fine.
you just hear this like,
Almost gonna throw herself in front of the chicken, between the chicken and Weylin, and go, no.
He's friendly. I think. I'm pretty sure. Constantine? Oh, yeah, he's friendly. He's friendly.
Is that?
My-
yeah,
my familiar.
question.
He
Something.
had a few more feathers the last time I summoned him. I'm not sure what
That's
happened.
why you summoned him more feathers, I see.
I had a plan. I was gonna get more feathers. Didn't quite work out.
it waddles. Because I can't describe that this thing walks normally. I can't say it lumbers because that would be a lot bigger than what it is. So it waddles.
I'm imagining like a penguin-like
Yeah.
type of,
Yeah.
stride.
Towards Mercy, and just sort of sits way too human-like in front of Mercy.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah,
Its
I'm
its
pulling-
body turns like look at everyone else.
I am pulling out an arrow. Do not stare
Nope.
at me.
It
Okay, Constantine?
looks at the arrow and it cocks it. It cocks
Nope.
its head.
Stop it. No. Leave it alone. Stay away from Weylin.
Hi, birdie.
Weylin
Violent.
is sick.
He's
Don't.
fine.
It obviously is. I don't know. I didn't think birds could have the mange, but that seems to be the case. So let's leave the poor thing in peace.
It comes near
It's
me.
less misery.
I will kill it.
Duly noted. Constantine, do not go near Weylin, please. Perfect. Thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Just for the record, my favorite enemies is monstrosities.
Ah, this is technically a tiny fiend.
Okay, cool.
This is, by all accounts, what would probably be, as best described, an actual nightmare. It is,
But it's my nightmare.
but
okay?
it's a cute nightmare.
Buddy.
It is, it looks like a chicken if you turned it inside out and gave it a frog's mouth with sharp teeth, and part of it was just sticking straight up. Like, that's the only way it could be physically described.
Lovely.
None of that sounded cute, but
No.
okay.
No.
You have me visualizing the transporter scene from Galaxy Quest when the
Yeah,
creature was transported
Yeah.
inside out.
Yeah, pretty much that. It's not pleasant to look at, and the sounds that it makes, it's just consistent. Just, anytime it's way too big for its body, mouth opens.
Okay.
The ship lists a bit more, and you start to feel that it is starting to crest back onto a shoreline.
Are we closer to that city we saw earlier?
Much closer to this massive citadel.
Orfeo?
Yes.
Tokyo has been awfully quiet.
It's not the first time I've seen this place, and I dislike it more and more the more we go towards it.
We need
What
to
does
go
it mean
through
to you?
It is a hall of judgment. And it is an unfortunate one at that.
What do you have to fear from judgment?
I'm not a noble... Well, I am a noble spirit, but not one that is noble enough to journey to where Apazia is going. By all accounts, I could be locked away here, and that would defeat the purpose of my journey.
We'll try and see to it that it doesn't happen.
When you say you're unable to follow us, is that just through the last gate? Or is at some point will we lose the benefit of the divine light?
I can journey with you up until I reach the point that I need to reach. When I find what I'm looking for, at that point, my assistance will not be required.
I see.
The ship slides into the shoreline. You don't hear the sound of mud scraping, but rock and sand moving. It's almost obsidian-like chasm wall where this towering citadel sits upon, now in front of you, as well as stairway that leads up towards it.
This is where we have to go.
This is where the departed souls and my travelers must leave me.
I'm gonna do a really awesome kick up move and like grab my hand axe and like secure it back on my person.
You do so.
Thank you, Karen, for
Yes.
honoring your end of the bargain.
Yes, thank you. I think I'll pull out one of the feathers I collected and hand it to him if he wants it.
You hold it out. He does reach his massive hand out. He takes it. It is like a fleck in his hand. He does
A memento.
throw it back. Thank you for the kind gesture. It would be uncouth of me to say that I shall see you all again. But I do not know of the path that you mortals shall take.
Wayland's gonna nod at Sharon, which is the closest thing he ever gets to say goodbye to anybody. And then leave, like disembark, but in like a cool badass way. Like he's gonna make a show of it because he's feeling himself right now. I don't know.
As you all disembark, with Weylin leading the disembarking in the only way that Weylin knows how, with the strut of someone that definitely knows what they're doing in every situation. And you see the ship begin to pull back and fades into the mist behind. It's now that you begin to see that this whole area is surrounded by this consistent fog. Even the stairway leading up has the same. And as Orpheus steps out and Ebasia follows, you see that the divine light from the torch is about the only thing that cuts through the fog as they begin to ascend up. The calls of judgment are also at their peak here.
Now, do we have to go through judgment, or are we allowed to bypass judgment?
Wow, I was going the wrong voice. You were to bypass judgment, it would mean that your journey here is at an end.
I see.
You would go to the same place that Ebasia would go, and spend your remaining afterlife pontificating with such great names as Socrates, Virgil himself, Plato, the great philosophers.
I don't know about you, priest, but I fear no judgment.
Unfortunately, we have to go through Minos.
Very well.
As you begin to walk up, you see the stairwell path diverge. One stone, but goes down, and the other remains the strange obsidian and continues up. And Ebasia heads towards the stone path. This is where we part, I'm afraid.
I wish you well.
May I offer you a bit of advice?
Please.
There are things here in hell that can help you. Don't mistake what could be mundane and useless as anything but a bit of divine glory in its own way.
So in other words, don't go pointing arrows at everything that moves?
Not necessarily, but don't disregard something that might be useful.
Got it.
Even something so mundane as a simple stick could be life or death. She turns and continues down the stone path.
Weylin is now going to keep an eye out for sticks. My intelligence is 0, all right?
As you all continue upwards, you start to notice the fog gets thicker, the path begins to become wider. Now it's just the sight of Orfeo and the light. You can't, not even Isengrim, your blind sight alone can't even pierce through this fog. Ooh. It's now by feel that you realize that you are no longer walking up, but on a straight plane, plateau of sorts. You still feel stone underneath you. The sound of the whipping has stopped, as well as the call. Orfeo stops moving.
Something wrong.
I think we've arrived.
We have.
Who has the highest passive perception?
Oh, Cracker Jacks.
Mine's only 10.
12.
14.
Weylin and Alma. Both of you hear what sounds like a serpent moving against the ground, encircling you all. Following this are footsteps, this loud thudding noise, this
Yeah, I'm pulling out my hand axe because I can't see anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
pulling out my hand axe, which is still attached to the rope. So I'm like wrapping the rope in one hand and have my hand axe in the other.
Out for yourself. You stand before the presence of a king.
I see no king. I see nothing.
Then let me shed light on the situation.
You hear as this loud whip crack sounds and the mist parts. Standing before you, this 16-foot tall, almost stone-like monster of a being. Its body made of this calcified stone, its head a crown of stone and jagged peaks, fire erupting from it, equal to the eyes. Attached to the back of the neck and draping down, and he's holding in his hand this tendril that ends in a barb before you. And I'm going to send this to our Discord so that you can get a clearer image of what stands before you.
Thank you very much for clearing away the fog.
Yeah, this one. There you guys go.
Ooh.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, no, that's not a problem at all.
that's a
Obsidian
fun
brute with
fella.
a tail.
Account for yourself and bow in supplication to King Minos.
Mercy curtsies.
Thaddaeus bows. Now, just as me, are we supposed to introduce ourselves to him, or?
He has not asked for introductions, just bow.
Okay, bows.
Bow too.
Curtsy.
I stare straight at the demon guy.
He, for the first time, you see a being such as this crack a smile, which reveals again these jagged boar-like teeth, these two tusks that stick up.
You make a mockery of this. The courtroom of one blessed by the gods. It's... I know that scent well.
He gets closer.
I know what your kind are like.
He releases his hold of this tendril, and you see it snake around and slowly begin to coil, not fully around your body, but just around you 9 times.
Yeah, no, now my attention is on the coiling thing around me.
Nonsense. I know what your judgment would be.
As it uncoils and snaps.
Pride.
You see him. He moves less like a person. It seems to stalk more like an animal.
All of you hold those scents. The smell of sin weighing heavy on each of you.
Yeah, now I'm bowing, because that was scary.
No, Wayland is by far the most humble and has the least amount of hubris amongst us.
Was that genuine and out loud?
It was sarcastic tone, but yes.
He turns to look towards you. Interesting. You. The priest. There are many of your kind here. Far too many. I always have the most fun with the likes of you. You see the coil start to circle around you as well, Thaddeus. Circles about 8
Since
times.
no harm came to Weylin, he just watches.
Circles 8 times. Uncoils, snaps. Malabulge with you. As many of your kind go.
And what of the transgression of King Minos himself? I don't let anyone judge me who I don't know.
He looks down to himself first and looks back up.
I was born in an era. I did not know of the truth of the divine will. When I died, I was first branded a heretic, but the divine will saw fit to grant to me a level of atonement for my lack of knowledge. To judge those my own insights.
Gives another deep sniff. The coil beginning to encircle around Thaddeus now.
Thaddeus or Isengrim?
Isengrim.
Sorry, Isengrim.
And if he wants to judge me again, fine.
You would meet my bastard child in your judgment. To the 7th circle with you. Its 3rd round.
Any message you want to pass on?
There's no message that can be received by that monstrosity. But the burning sand should fit you well. False warrior of the divine will.
As the tail uncoils and snaps. Another whip crack. Gets lower, almost to all fours as he moves towards Alma.
Well,
Almost sad that you would have to remain here.
As the coil only moves once.
Not for any sin of your own, but for lack of knowledge.
That's unwinds, whip cracks. Head turns to Mercy. Blood of yours.
You do not carry the same sense as some of the others.
The second person, or second thing to tell me that here.
But as for why you are here,
It begins to wind around. Coils around 6 times.
your sins are all the same.
Uncoils, whip cracks.
But you are here before your time. You interrupt my court Why have you brought these here, Orfeo?
Passage to beyond.
You speak above your station. What do you seek? Who you seek? Knows her place already. You seek to change things.
You see the coil begin to circle around Orfeo.
You betrayed her trust. Treachery. Or is it perhaps your greed to leave? Irregardless, your judgment will take time.
As Orfeo moves to speak, the barb jabs into his chest. He reflexively drops the torch, which stabs into the ground, and the coil unwinds and lashes, and you see Orfeo's form vanishes into the mist as he is thrown aside.
Thaddeus calmly walks over to pick up the divine light.
As you move, the lash lands down in front of you.
That's for you alone. And what you are doing here. It is not a crime to find you here. Once. Take a bit of time with you. After all, you are already here. Let us commence the judgment.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Let's go around, introduce yourselves again, say where you can find y'all, what you all are doing. We're gonna start with Thaddeus.
I'm Alan Grieve. I go by Shawrath42 on Twitter. This is my first actual play and having a blast.
Hop over to Alma.
Hi everyone, I'm Nox. You can find me at Noxternal_7 on a lot of social medias, and I'm in a couple of actual plays, mostly on Girls Run These Worlds, on their Twitch channel. So I have 2 on Friday. It's gonna be a very long day, and I have 1 on Saturday and 1 on Tuesday. But the best place to keep track is to follow me on Twitter. Thank you.
Weylin.
Yeah, not me pulling up my calendar right now. Hey, Osio, I am Casper the NB Ghost. I am a Black Cherokee neurodivergent sapphic writer of sci-fi fantasy horror that plays and produces tabletop RPGs. On Mondays and Fridays, I am on Tabletop Titties. On Sundays, alternating Sundays, I am on Neon Lights Roleplay, and every Sunday I am on Pluto Cleric's channel. This Friday, or actually any major phase of the moon, I'm on my own channel doing some random shit. But you can find me everywhere at Casper the MB Ghost, except for on Twitter where it's spelt different. It's Casper DMB Ghost. Yeah.
Isengrim.
I am Alex Gagne Blouin. You can find me on Twitter at Foxes with Axes. And I'm still looking for contracts, so if you need a writer or a translator, let me know.
And Mercy.
Hey, you can find me at Critical Nix on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, which I might start streaming something on my own eventually, but until then, I'll be on here.
And I'm Jhevaunte, your friendly TTRPG goblin and DM for this session. You can find me on this exact place on Monday nights, where on Mondays it's Morphin Time. Bi-weekly Mondays, where I will be in the Power Rangers actual play, along with Arclight Court, Pluto Cleric, Alec Bard, and Crimson Galaxy, and Brandon O'Brien. Fantastic group of people. They are all awesome. Please join us for that. Outside of that, you can catch me on my Twitter at Jhevaunte, Jhev as in Victor, Aunte. Where currently I am doing a writing thing where you all are interested in the concept of professional wrestling and want to see a character take part in that. I am doing an entire wrestling promotion on Tuesdays and Thursdays that you can have characters take part in. It's pinned to my Twitter, so give that a look if you would like. Outside of that, we also have a bunch of really, really awesome sponsors that keep our lights on and just give us some really, really rad stuff. First off, Session Zero Clothing, creators of awesome TTRPG inspired streetwear. Use code ORDER at checkout for 15% off your purchase. Another fantastic clothing designer that helps us help you, and that's Arclight Court. Really, really awesome. I love Arclight Court. Use the code TIO15 at checkout for 15% off your purchase. Norse Foundry as well, creators of Artisan Stone and Metal Dice. Use code TIO15. You'll get 15% off your purchase there. Another dice crafting group, our friends at Mithril Armory. Use code INITIATIVE. You can get 10% off your purchase. And finally, Umbral Oculus Dice. Use code INITIATIVE. You'll get 10% off a full set of dice. I absolutely love all of these people. I am so very happy that you guys got to join us again, and we will see you the Wednesday following this coming Wednesday. Super awesome to have you guys again, and you all have a fantastic week.
I can hit the button.